Shane Lott, online content presenter for the global QSI community.
All right, welcome everyone. Today is February 5th, 2024. Already a month into the year here, and just welcome everyone here to the call tonight, our QSI Utah weekly quorum call that we do every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Very excited tonight. We got a special treat. We have our friend from down under, Shane Lott, who is joining us once again. Going to be co-presenting tonight. Shane, how are you, my friend?
Very well, Dave, very well. Looking forward to this greatly.
Yeah, thanks so much for being here. Shane's just a great guy and is a tremendous presenter, and been really nice having him here with us a couple times. I was here, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and now sort of a follow-up and continuation of that conversation. Slightly different topic, but actually related in a lot of ways, as well, as you'll see. Over to you, Shane.
Thank you very much for the ability to co-present with you today. Always love doing this with you and the Utah people, and obviously QSI as a whole. So what I've put together here is just an overview on multi-wallet creation and management. So why would you want to have multiple wallets, be they Lobster, be they LumenDex, be they any of the other software wallets or soft wallets as we term them? Well, it allows you to group your tokens and assets, and that can be for many reasons. Funds management, i.e. your tokens and assets can be grouped per a particular type, and that may be your APY, your annual percentage yield, your return tokens, if you like. They can be grouped in one wallet separate from others. Likewise, any of the dividend, commodity or investment assets can be in separate wallets, all grouped together. Consider our Indus payments and all of those being segregated from your tokens. They can also be grouped by domains, as in the case of our TerraGenesis asset class. You can have them separate in one wallet. Broader account management and also beneficiary management. I was going to present another section on trusts, but in trying to carve this down, that we can look at as a separate presentation if Dave wants to do that at a later point in time. But you may wish to have a structure of multiple wallets that allow you to manage disbursement of funds to your projects or to any beneficiaries that you may set up as part of your process. Also in what I loosely term risk mitigation, and that can be from a compromised or forgotten account wallet or login credentials, and also should you get a crashed or inaccessible, as we have seen, or hijacked e-wallet or account, i.e. somebody's done a wallet connect or logged into one of the LumenDex phishing sites, as we showed in the last presentation. If that's your one and only wallet and you've got 950 assets in it, all you're going to see is progressively that wallet get emptied. At least if you apply a structure through multiple wallets and segregate your assets, tokens, funds, dividends, you're going to mitigate any risk to yourself and to your hard-earned assets by only having one wallet compromised. So, what's required to create a Lobster wallet or one of the other wallets? Traditionally with Lobster, we need an email address that must be unique to a single wallet. It receives the change of IP and account messages, and it cannot be used on more than one wallet. Also a password, a secure password that includes numbers and characters, just not the default, for example, password with a capital P and an exclamation mark at the end. You know, you've got to get away from those default actions to make life simpler and secure yourself. So therefore, one email address plus one password equals one wallet. So with a multi-Lobster wallet creation, if we must have a separate email for each wallet, how do we then manage the change of IP and account messages for multiple emails without accessing multiple email accounts and the additional wallet to get to the additional wallets and going crazy in the process? A workable solution is what we call email aliasing. And I'm a bit of a visual educator and learner myself, so I've broken this down into a lot of images as well. So what is email aliasing? So if we start with a primary email address, and that can be, for example, you at your domain. So for example, mine is shaynelott@protonmail.com. So that's my primary email address. An alias off that is a separate email address or multiple email addresses that all report back to or auto forward to that primary email without the need to access the number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4 email address as an account. So once it's set up, you don't need to do anything to manage those additional aliases, because any email from Lobster to that account email address automatically forwards through and drops into your primary email inbox. It's a seamless process. However, security warning here, your primary address should not be connected to any wallet or account. Not looking to put the fear of, who into anybody, but it's adding a layer of security to that security onion. If your primary email address is attached to a wallet, then public facing is one component out of those 3 components to access your wallet, because your email address is public facing and it's out there. Just be aware of that. So to look at it from a Lobster or Lumendex perspective, my primary email, lobsterwallet1@mydomain.com or protonmail.com, reports back the same as email 2, email 3, or if there's any email communications out of Lumendex. I haven't delved into Lumendex that deeply. I don't know, at this point in time, I'll stand corrected, Dave, if you've seen it, whether there's any interaction back to an email address from Lumendex. I don't think it's at that level yet. Don't know if it
Not
will
yet.
be. Yeah, don't know if it will be, but I'm just trying to cover as many bases here with this application as I can. So what it looks like from a wallet allocation perspective. So alias email 1, that's my daily use wallet. Email 2 goes to banking or reserve funds. Email 3 or account 3 is for assets, commodities. Email alias 4, that's attached to my ICO or project funds wallet. So what might those, a unique identifier address is required for that federation address, So depending on what you decide for your federation address, I would certainly recommend, you make that as simple as you can, but segregated yet similar to your grouped wallets, because that's going to allow you to make sense of the complexity behind the process. So what those wallets might look like internally, here for example is my daily use wallet, where I keep a minimal stock of lumens, any USDC, or as I'm in Australia, once we have AUDD or our digital Australian coin, along with any other store of value tokens that I might use on a daily basis. Of a mid or medium operating value, i.e. as in store of value in those tokens, access multiple times a day for routine payments, etc., and minimal to no impact if access to that wallet is either lost or compromised. For example, trust lines are pre-established, however minimum funding exists. I'd feed this wallet off my primary store of value behind the scenes that is not public facing. So Lobster Wallet 2 might be, for example, all of my banking assets. Again, held relative to any ongoing value. We still don't know what we don't know yet because it hasn't been revealed to us. However, my intention behind investing in a number of these, and there's the big four from Australia, as in CBA, the Commonwealth Bank, ANZ, Westpac Banking and National Australia Bank, along with Suncorp, Citigroup, Visa, HSBC, JP and Wells Fargo. Once we see those rise, or I see those rise in value, I'll pick a step off point where I might liquidate those assets into liquidity, roll those into another wallet for investing purposes. That's my intention at this point in time. Whether it winds out that way, we just don't know. As I've said there, sorry, accessed only to assess and review for liquidity reallocation. Wallet 3 would be my hard-earned assets, along with any of those additionals that we've invested in, as in our sovereign gold bonds, ARS, which is Rothschilds under swisscustody.org. Again, maybe all the same or varying asset domains, but they're grouped together. Again, accessed to assess and review for liquidity reallocation. As for our Lumendex, that may well be ICO or project account used to send funding to an ICO project and only contains any ICO releases or project-specific tokens or assets. All right, so cross-wallet contacts. Now this is from the web interface. So as you can see here, I've got set up my wallets that are numbered and also have a reference to what the co-wallet holds. Now you'll notice here that there's no wallet 2 because I'm actually, in this instance, logged into wallet 2. You can't add a wallet as its own contact. So your numbering convention, that immediately tells me now, without even having to go to the wallet, I'm in wallet number 2 because it's not visible. So your numbering and naming convention is also going to give you insight to where you are within your personal financial ecosystem. This allows for quick, controlled, concise, and also traceable token asset exchange between your wallets. Now, what this looks like in your established contacts for relationship to the QSI group funds and ICOs, if you establish a recognizable naming convention, it's quite easy to see, and I grabbed these snapshots this morning, so you can see already down there in relation to the robot or Moonbot ICO. If you label your QSI GF accounts and wallets, I've got the separation or distinction, in there. I already know which account, once the ICO comes out, I know which contact, to go and find within my contacts. I don't have to fish around for any of the public G address or load it into the system before I can participate. So it provides for a managed group fund ICO process using the QR code or the federation address as listed in the ICO. So anybody who's not using the QR codes, the official QR codes issued with the group fund address, you're making a short process very, very long by going the long way around and not having them saved in your contacts as accounts and wallets. Also, if you do that, load them into your Lobster as a contact, it ensures the creation of the correct asset trust line and, most importantly, the allocation of the funds on that ICO completion and payout by the developers, because it comes straight back into your established trust line. No more fishing around in the skip bin or the dumpster diving in pendings to go and locate what group fund you've invested in and whether it's paid out or not. Quick supplementary here on external app management. Always ensure caution, as we've said, when using web-based apps and wallet connecting. Don't be afraid of the multi-wallets and segregating your ICOs into classes and projects, because it gives you that level of stability and control in the process. In my opinion, Wallet Connect will be more secure post Protocol 20, and also when we've finally routed out those cockroaches. So develop a sound process and stick to it. I think we all saw the issue and the furor that was created on main channel when QR codes don't get issued with a couple of, or didn't get issued immediately, sorry, with a couple of the ICOs while Emily was away, and everybody lost them, well, not everybody, but a percentage of people lost their mind a little bit about, well, how do I go and add using the federation address? Well, if you'd created your contacts either using the long form G address or the federation address, and seen when you add it as a contact, it resolves to the public G address, you do your quick confirmation. Once your contact is added, it's in there. The group fund name will change along with the next ICO. So structured correctly, once you've developed the process and it is sound, stick to it, and it makes life so much easier. Proofid Point, I see that they have released the next TerraGenesis ICO. Well, I partook in that ICO and did my transfer using the QR code while Dave was finishing off the tail part of his earlier delivery. So I already know I'm involved in that next TerraGenesis ICO without having to worry about it, because my process is established, I know it works, and I'm safe and confident in that. A few closing tips under your general management: group your assets and your tokens into wallets, how it makes sense to you. That way you're going to be more comfortable with it and it'll be workable. Load your other wallets into each other as contacts. Make sure cross-wallet transfers simple and easy. Ensure that you set the federation address again in a logical format that mirrors your wallet titles. That way, managing multiple wallets becomes easy with an established convention and process. Now, risk mitigation: never share your credentials, passwords, passphrases, or your devices with anybody. Obviously, unless you trust them, but that's your call. Always separate your multi-wallet passwords. Never auto-save them if in a browser or an app. Now, coming from a tech background, it's one of the reasons why I get nervous in putting any credential details into a web interface where the website is managed by others, albeit they are vetted through the Stellar network and the process, as in the case of Lumendex. But again, going back to our phishing delivery last time, if you put it out there, somebody can get a hold of it. And in closing, we don't know what we don't know yet. However, those who fail to plan actually plan to fail. And that's it from me for this. Wanted to keep it short and sweet. Again, you can go back to the recording once Dave posts it after we've meshed these two together and answer any finer points there. But unless Dave's got anything, that's it for me. We can throw it open to questions.
Let me just real quickly chime in, Shane. I just want to say that presentation was amazing. I mean, I've been here since the beginning of QSI, and I don't think I've ever seen that laid out like that. And it makes so much sense. I'm just on the cusp of rearranging things, and I'm gonna use this method. So that's just, hopefully everyone sees the beauty of what was just shown there and how to just add, I think it makes it more organized, it mitigates risk, and there's just a lot of really good benefit in setting it up the way that you've shown there, Shane, as an example. So great job.
No, I appreciate that.
All right, we got some questions. I can maybe help kick the questions out here, Shane. We can handle them that way. Let's see. Betsy, let's get Betsy unmuted, and we'll have her go first.
Hey, Shane, thanks so much for that. So if you, I only have one wallet so far, but you've totally inspired me to create others and not be afraid of having more than 3 or 4. But if my Proton address, and I do use Proton as well, my main address is attached to that first Lobster wallet. Can I change that address in that first wallet?
Yes, you
Can I change my?
Yes,
Okay.
you can change let's call it a Stellar account access email, and it's a definite distinction that a lot of people will need to understand, is that the email address and secure password and passphrase used to create a Lobster account or a Lobster wallet establishes your initial account with the Stellar network, as we see through the G address in, for example, Stellar Expert. Now, there's a feature available within Lobster where you can disconnect from a Stellar account. Not close the wallet, but disconnect Lobster from that account. And I've done it at least a dozen times now and helped multiple people out. One particular person regaining access to a wallet or to a Stellar account, that was getting drained of assets. Fortunately for that person, I was able to help another person because they'd relinquished their secure passphrase through lumendex.io, the phishing site. The first thing that the hijacker did was invoked Lobster Vault and locked them out as a signer. So all they could do, unfortunately, and I shed a few tears with them because they're known to me closely here through the Australian Quorum, is to see their assets get drained. Everything, sell orders put in, lumens siphoned, the whole lot, wallet to wallet to wallet, eventually offloaded through Binance. So that's why I get nervous on the whole, wallet connect at this point in time. But having your separate wallets allows you at least that little bit of comfort, and there's no problem with disconnecting Lobster from a Stellar account. Having another email regime already set up for, even in advance, 3 or 4 wallets that may well be set up and sitting there waiting for you to then decide what you're going to do. But just sit down and think about it beforehand, structure it, map it out on a piece of paper, so then you can just go and backfill the process technologically or electronically online as you build it. Now, depending on what Proton email address you have, I initially started, when I worked this process out 18 months ago, 2 years ago, I started with a .me, and because Proton's internal security mechanisms flag the .me the minute you create multiple similar email addresses, their servers flagged it as a spammer. I got locked out of my wallets. After multiple emails back to Proton to say, hey, this is legitimate, this is the regime that I'm setting up, they said, we'll switch you to a .com email ending because they don't have that level of spam regulation, if you like, over that .com, because it's a com. It's intended for company use. Now, I do believe recently they've relaxed that, provided you actually purchase a subscription. And then with the purchase of your subscription, when I bought it was $89 US, I think it might be the same. That allows you up to 10 email aliases back to your primary email address.
Yes, and I have the same subscription.
Okay. Then your
I have
road
a
is going to be a
premium
lot
that-
easier. Yeah, your road's going to be a lot easier in setting this up.
Okay, so Shane, back to the original question of the original email address that I have that really is my public address.
Yep.
You're saying that I can go in and disconnect that?
Yes.
And is it fairly intuitive when I don't want to take your time now, but, is it just, you're just doing it through the Lobster app?
It is. You're just doing it through I would certainly recommend you do it on a desktop, not through phone. You just get a lot more features available in the desktop application for Lobster. And it is very straightforward, provided you look at, and I always reiterate this because a lot of people don't, they sort of intuitively, like reading posts, they jump through and get what they think is the most important bits and then go, oh, what do you mean I was supposed to record my passphrase? So you need to have that information ready and handy. You need to have your email address or your new email address ready to go. And then once you disconnect the Lobster account, all of your assets are still sitting on the Stellar network, because we know they don't sit in Lobster. All you're doing is disconnecting the application from that Stellar account. You then go in
And then
and create a new Lobster account, but you don't create a new Stellar account. You get the option to connect using a secure key or passphrase. Now you can have either. As long as you've got one of those two, you can then connect using a new email address and a new password to an existing Stellar account identified on the Stellar network through Lobster using the secure key. And I'll be honest, it scared the crap out of me the first time I did it, because I'm like, okay, so this is it, it's the FOMO thing. All right, it's the fear of the unknown until it becomes known. As I say, I've done it well over a dozen times now. I will guarantee to 99.99% repeater, provided you follow the designated steps, you won't have an issue. But if you don't have the email and you don't have your password for the new account established already, and you get out of step with the process, it could go sideways. And if it does, you just go back to the start and start again. Because why? Your assets are all on the Stellar network, not on Lobster. Lobster's not a network. It's an application like Lumendex is. All you've done is disconnected your ability to open the front door to that Stellar account. You just got to re-establish access, put the right key in the lock, turn it, it all becomes visible again.
Yep. Brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I thought I saw a couple other hands up. We got Elle Bell. Let's get Elle unmuted. There you go.
Dave. Hi, Shane.
Hey, yeah, we all.
I have I guess it's kind of a similar question as before, but maybe coming from another direction. I want to make sure that I'm understanding this correctly. So if I have a Principal wallet and it's a Gmail that I've had forever, so I want to, and I've wanted to not use that anymore. So and I have other wallets that I have done that I've created, but they don't have, because they're secondary. They don't have my phone number attached to them. So if I want to create a new wallet using Proton, what you're saying, if I understand you're correctly, what you're saying is that the process would be to create with Proton, the Proton email, and set up whatever. If I wanted to do aliases, set up different wallets, however many I'm going to do, and then disconnect my account from the wallet. So, as I understand that it's the network that's still holding my assets, but
Correct.
my access right now is through that primary Lobster wallet, and I'm wanting to shift it to the Proton one. Is that a better method than, trying to transfer in some other way, line by line, from the primary the wallet to Proton? So if you have like 600 assets in your primary wallet, you don't want to have to transfer those one by one. Would this
Correct.
be a way to do that?
That's a painful, long way of doing it. You can do it that way, but I will say, for transparency purposes, I don't have an affiliate connection to Proton. I've just set it up that way, and it works for me. I am aware that you can establish alias addresses through both Gmail, Outlook, and a couple of the other, or if not all of the other email providers out there. But I found the Proton all-in-one interface off the web so much easier to manage all that, whereas Google sort of push you, as I understand, down that multiple page back-end process of setting up the aliases, but I'm happy to be corrected on that. Again, I don't know enough about it because I haven't gone down that path. So if you wanted to stay with Gmail, you could. However, if you wanted to start completely clean through Proton, once you disconnect from that primary Gmail, or disconnect that primary Gmail address from the Stellar account, and you reconnect with Proton on a new clean email address, or an alias preferably, once you connect that alias, all your assets that were in the Gmail connected Lobster interface will be viewable and manageable through the Proton alias email connection. So
Perfect.
you don't need to go that long way of, opening the new wallet, funding the new wallet, because you need to hold a trust line in the asset before you can transfer it. Otherwise, it goes into your pendings. Then you got to, suit up and dumpster dive to get your assets back. That was what we used to do back in the old days before this stuff was made visible to us. And, as I've said previously, in the early days, I wore out about 3 keyboards, button mashing and, mousing, trying to get things sorted. It's a lot easier now. So yes, your process can be a shorter path by going down that path with Proton, or alias email addresses with your existing provider.
Okay. Well, and I could do that with as many wallets as I want, correct?
Absolutely. I've also looked at and considered the possibility of having to have a second Proton primary email to establish more aliases off that account.
Gotcha.
So should you get to the extent of at max's 15 aliases, if you needed a 16th, you would need to get another Proton account.
Okay.
So it might be lbell2@protonmail.com. Then you could, again, expand that account and get more aliases. But again, we still don't know how all this is going to wind up, but at least if you set yourself up for an expanded process now, it's just working that process. You're not having to come up with something from scratch in a hurry because you've hit that, 1,000th asset that won't let you load any more into that wallet.
Mm-hmm. And each of these new create wallets on Proton, and I do want to get off of Gmail, and I know that Proton was mentioned by, there was a book that you recommended several months back that was all about setting up security, and so I've had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to do this, but I couldn't figure out how to do it in a less tedious way. So I'm really, really appreciative of this, and I just want to make sure that on these anything that I'm creating, I will need distinct, like you said, I'll need distinct passwords, distinct email, but they will be that primary number that I have, phone number that's attached, that can still remain on one wallet, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to even have that on one wallet.
Okay.
The addition of the phone number or the contact number is entirely a choice. I've got it on my primary because I set it up that way. I've just left it there. But certainly your separate and distinct email addresses for your separate wallets is a given.
Got you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate
Excellent. You're
your
welcome.
All right. I think I saw Deidre. Did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I had a question just to make sure I understood exactly how you set that up, Shane. So it sounds like you have a primary account with a certain amount of XLM or whatever in it, and you're doing your purchases on that account, whether it's like for your bank wallet or your ICO wallet or whatever it would be. And then after you've done that purchase on your primary wallet, then you're transferring it to the, I guess, downstream wallet. I don't know what else to call it, or well, I can't remember what you call it. Is that how you're doing it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I have a primary Lobster wallet attached to the primary Stellar account that holds my store of value. And when I want to participate, for example, in an ICO, or I might keep 500 Lumen in an ICO wallet, as I've got now, and any of the ICOs through QSI, as I showed, all the contacts are all set up, ready to go. So now when those ICOs pay off, if, for example, it happens to be Halliburton, I will send Halliburton in its entirety back to my asset wallet, because I don't want that Halliburton, because it's a company, I don't want that sitting in my day-to-day ICO wallet. So that way you can also manage across your wallets on a scale basis the number of assets. You're not just throwing everything that you collect in the one wallet and then scratching your head going, how do I make sense of this fruit salad?
I'm totally there right now. Actually, like many of us, transferring assets in the salad bowl to try to make sense. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to transfer all my XRP Bridge and banks and XLM banks and Bridge to one wallet so that I have room to function in other ones. So yes, I'm going through that painful process right now. So this is just amazing timing. So, and then I have one other question, and I would like to understand it, and I hope this makes sense. I know when I have set up Lobster accounts before, in the very initial step, it says to you, do you want to, and I might not be using the right terminology, it says, do you want to link to another Lobster account, or do you kind of want to have it separate? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, that would be the option, as I mentioned earlier, for the email side of things. When you want to change an email address, you can connect to an existing Stellar account or create a new one. So that's the option that you get when you create a new account, not log in, but when you get the option to create, you have the option to connect to an existing Stellar account, in which case you would use, if you select that option, You then get another page where it says you want to connect using a secure key or your 12-word passphrase.
Okay.
If you select the
So-
option to create a new one, you get
Yep.
sent to another page that says, okay, then it gives you your passphrase, then it steps you through the process, and that creates a brand new Stellar account
Yep.
that Lobster
Yep.
wallet is connected to. Then you've got to fund it.
Yep. I hear you. Yeah. So is it a little bit safer? What is your recommendation? Is it better to, or maybe I don't know if there's one way that's better than the other, but I chose not to connect them and to keep them always separated. What is your recommendation?
Well, that depends on what your personal financial ecosystem is going to wind up looking like. If you've got, for example, your ICOs in one wallet and your store of values in another, and your Indus Payments and Indus Techs in another wallet, that's how I've set it up. So now I know if a new batch of XRP bridges, XRP banks, or Indus assets are released, I'm going to go to that wallet. If I haven't got enough XLM in it, I'm going to transfer from wallet 1 or wallet 2, my bank, my store of value. I might transfer 500 XLM across and then go back into my Indus wallet and start putting in my orders through the Indus wallet, and then just leave it sit there. Go back to what else I was doing. Then when I get the notification or the email from the Indus wallet that an order is filled, I know I'm good to go. So even though you've got multiple wallet arrangements set up, your ecosystem is there, that you can manage your multiple buckets for what's filling. And it's a brain expander. I make no bones about that. But it's where my time in the process has put me in being able to manage, rather than having two wallets, 1,800 assets, all mixed into a fruit salad bowl. It's a lot harder to pick out just the kiwi fruit as opposed to the mango.
Yes,
to try and
indeed.
break
Yes, indeed.
it. Yeah, I've done is
vegetables with my fruit.
all I've tried to do
I've got vegetables
is
and fruit.
yeah, all I've tried to do is sort of, pick apart in the bowl the combined fruit salad and put a bit of organization to it,
Yeah, exactly. One other quick comment. So, with the multiple wallets, I don't know if there's a other way to do it, but if I'm on my phone and I'm in one wallet and I need to access the other wallet for whatever reason, I always have to log out of the one in order to log into the other wallet. Is there a workaround for that, or does that always have to be that I have to log out one in order to log into another one?
No workaround that I've seen at this point in time. That is why I also looked at coming up with the multiple wallet scenario, because I can't tell you the last time I was actually in my Indus wallet. The same as I can't tell you the last time I was in my real estate wallet. It's because I got the assets set up in there, haven't seen anything come out new. I'm primarily using my ICO wallet. So if I need to get out of that wallet in iOS, for example, on the Apple platform, yes, I have to physically go in and log out of that, then go and log into one of the other wallets. I don't see at this point a workaround on that, possibly until we get our next level tech where it's connected with our intuition. And I can just think, okay, log out of that, log into this, boom. I can then have it appear in front of me, make a couple of changes like Tom Cruise on Minority Report with a couple of waves of the fingers, and then it be done. Although I did see they have released, Meta or something have released their next generation goggles, and everybody's, waving their hands in public now to to start doing that sort of stuff. So who knows? Maybe that's not far away.
Amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate all
You're
your
very
answers.
welcome. You're
Thank
very
you so
welcome.
much.
All right, Shane, looks like we got a couple more. Let's go to Wendy.
Hi, yeah, just regarding opening different wallets on your phone. If you maybe use different browsers, like open one in one browser and then open the other wallet in another browser, for example, Brave and Firefox, then I'm pretty sure you can have the same thing open, or even on Google. So that's the way I've been working with my phone. And of course, on the desktop, you could do the same thing. Or I do use LumenDex, and I just open another page, and I can do two wallets open on my iPad on LumenDex. So there is ways around it, I think, for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Certainly the app side of things on iPhone or Android, you are restricted in that regard. But if you use a browser interface and you've got multiple browsers available, yes, I found that the easiest way on a desktop or laptop. Again, back in the day when was madly going nuts, thinking that, it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. Stacking multiple wallets with multiple buy orders, and the time that it took for not Lobster, but the network to process a lot of those transactions. I'd be waiting in Chrome, for example. I'd have hit the go button on that and done the request to order. I'd get the buffering signal, then jump across to Opera or Brave, or way back when I was braver in those days, Edge, and use a Microsoft product to process orders. So yes, you can do it in a browser setting, but physically with an app on the phone, it's a one in, one out scenario, unfortunately, at this stage. But you are right, Wendy, correct. Thank you.
All right, let's get to Bradley. He's been waiting here for a little bit. All right, Bradley, you should be good to go.
Thank you. Shane, I do want to ask you a question with regards to the multiple wallets. The 2FA thing, how do you handle that? Because I was under the impression that you couldn't use the same phone number, and putting the 2FA on another wallet would be complicated. So how are you doing it?
Well, thanks for your question, first off. The product that I use for my 2FA is 2FAS, 2FAS. And if you wish to check out their website, they have a great compatibility or comparable chart at the bottom between a lot of the two-factor authentication applications out there. I have absolutely no problem with running that two-factor authentication program, because each of the wallets that I connect the two-factor authentication process to through that app, I've got my wallet set up in 2FAS in exactly the same convention that I've got them set up in my multiple wallets in Lobster and my contacts. So for example, if I'm at the moment logging into my ICO wallet, I'll be wallet 4, I've got Lobster wallet 4 registered within two-factor authentication as wallet 4. That's the key that I need to load into wallet 4 when I log into it. Same as when I log out of it and want to go into wallet 1, I go to wallet 1 within 2FAS, wait for that code to come up, log into wallet 1, and two-factor or 2FAS on the app allows you to tap gently on the code, copies it, scroll across and paste it straight into Lobster, and boom, I'm into the account. Now I know we said
that's beautiful.
Now I know we said earlier that copy and paste can be dangerous, but it depends on the application. I'm actually working on the app on the phone and going to Lobster. We have to develop a point of trust at some point between the apps that work for us and our blockchain interface apps, it's not through a website. So I don't see any graver exposure in working between 2FAS as an app on my phone locally, copying the code that's displayed on the phone, even though it's generated by the two-factor authentication server on the internet. It's encrypted down through the internet, through the Wi-Fi network to my phone, where it gets decrypted in the app on my phone and displayed as that 6-digit authentication number. To tap that on my device, on the iPhone, you scroll up and jump across to the other app that's on the phone. Even though I'm again connected to the internet, I'm on the app on the phone and pasting on the phone. I'm not connected through a website that's run on a server somewhere, and it's an important distinction, and I hope I've explained it well enough for everybody's benefit. It's an important distinction. You're not doing it on a website that's hosted on a server. You're doing it from a physical app on your phone, even though the information is provided from the internet. It's encrypted to your device and decrypted on the device, copying it across onto the device and sending it as a clear piece of information out to Lobster. Your trust line, if you like, is established from internet to device and application in 2FAS, then across on your device to Lobster and out to the internet. I hope I haven't complicated. I hope I haven't complicated that in explanation. You did a
lovely job.
Appreciate that. And if anybody doesn't understand that, please let us know. And I'm more than happy to work with Dave, and maybe in a later instance we can do one on the two-factor authentication side of things. But in essence, to go back just quickly, people also need to understand that even though the Lobster app recommends it, and a lot of people do recommend it, you've already got a 3-factor authentication process without having 2-factor installed on Lobster. Because what do you need on a mobile phone, for example, to access, or even on a desktop application, to access Lobster? You need to know the email address, you need to know the password. And if you're connecting a new, so you've already got, in essence, 2-factor authentication, provided both of those authentication points, be it your email and your password, are not internet facing. Now, because majority of people, and me included in the early days, said, all it needs is an email address. ShaneLott@gmail.com. You're great. Good on you, Nuffy. Have a think about it a little bit further. Well, we're just at that point now in this process where we need to layer up the security onion. And that's one way we can do it, is to put the 2-factor authentication on. So hopefully that answered your question.
It did. Now, one other question, and I hope it's brief for you. When you have the two different wallets, let's say A and B, and you transfer an asset from A into B, does it lose anything at all? Like, does the transaction change on it that you've already performed? Does it stay intact with regards to the term that you open the asset in when you transfer it into another wallet? Does that make sense?
I think, or if you're asking to clarify, doesn't really make sense to me. That's not your fault. That might be my fault in the way I've received the information. I'll just say that. If anything does change, if you're sending from one wallet to another wallet, and that's subject of the current delay with the inverted commas, air quotes, bug in Protocol 20, there was some question raised over, well, who pays the fee while that transaction gets processed? Well, it's the sender that pays the fee. So, for example, you may wish to fund a new wallet with 20 XLM out of wallet A to wallet B. Well, you'll get 20 XLM in wallet B less that fee that it costs you to transfer it, as I understand it at this point in time. Your XLM as an asset doesn't change. It's just a processing fee, which we all know about, in either completing that swap or that trade or sending it across the network, because it's got to be self-sustaining. Otherwise, somebody eventually is not going to pay the bill and they'll turn the lights off. So that would be the only change I could see in an asset mid-transfer between one wallet and the other. It's the cost to actually do that transfer.
Okay. And then also if it, let's say that I had, like you just suggested, to have like all of your retail, or not retail, your real estate assets go into one wallet, and then you have the Indus in another wallet. And now I have them all combined in one wallet, and now I want to separate them. When I transfer it from that one wallet I no longer want it into the new one, does anything change in the parameters of that asset into that new wallet?
Not to my knowledge at this point in time. There was some question over a lot of the med beds in relation to tracking who's got what, when, where and how. But the fact that now, as we understand it, we're going to have to KYC with a number of those devices beforehand, I'll run by the rule of thumb that you can't go wrong trying to do the right thing. As long as your intentions are pure and with everything presented in front of, if it gets to that point, righto, you're here to KYC, come in, sit down, shut up and hang on, open all your wallets, give us access. Why did this occur? Why did that occur? Yeah, okay, fine, that works, we understand that. I've got one issue where I've got a wallet that's got an amount, I'll say that, an amount of XLM in it, and a number of, especially the Elon assets, that I changed phones. And with iPhone, I selected that option to transfer all of the apps. Well, stupid me didn't disconnect Lobster Vault before I did the transfer. Well, in the transfer, it created a new signer in Lobster Vault for the new phone, but now I'm locked out of that wallet because when I go to send any transactions, it sends it to be signed by the other party, but it doesn't come to the new phone. So all I can do at the time, well, hey, lesson learned, my silly fault, I know that now. All I can hope for is putting that in front of the powers that be at the time. If they say, yeah, nice little tap on the head and say, you've learnt your lesson, haven't you? Yes, I have. If I get access to it, great. If I don't, I've got enough invested of my time, intent, and goodwill that I would hope that I'd be taken care of in other areas. And again, it's one of those things of being open-minded. We're all talking about that at the moment, and letting go of what you don't have control in. So but I certainly don't see any issue in just being able to separate into multiple wallets that one wallet. What I would be mindful of is that A, you're going to have to fund wallet B with some XLM so that you can establish trust lines, and certainly make sure and confirm that you establish the correct trust line for the asset before you transfer it. Or if you
so you do have to do that.
Yeah, or if you go the long way and make sure you gear up correctly, delve into the pendings section if you're going to send that asset without creating the trust line, because it's going to sit in pendings of wallet B until you accept it. It's entirely up to you which way you want to go. But for the half an XLM, if you've got 500 assets and 300 of them you want to transfer, you need to going to fund that wallet with sufficient XLM until you've done the transfer of those 250 assets and then you go back into wallet A and delete those trust lines, you're going to get that funding XLM back into wallet A.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
once you delete that or remove that trust line, you're going to get, or remove that trust line from wallet A, you're going to get that establishment fee back for that original asset. So in essence, you're not going to lose. It's just going to, you just need to manage your funding XLM in the interim process.
Yeah.
You know, or
Yeah.
I mean, as Wendy said earlier, you can on a desktop have one browser open in Wallet A with Wallet A, another browser open. So you might have Chrome open with Wallet A, you might have Brave open with Wallet B on the same PC or laptop, and you can transfer one at a time and delete as you go. That way, check them off a list, and that way you could fund a wallet with 2 XLM and do 3 assets, and then reclaim that XLM in wallet A and send that XLM you've reclaimed to wallet B, refund another 3 assets and start again. So there's always a workaround. It depends.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the workaround these days, the easier the workaround, the more it's going to cost you in the interim. So if you can fund wallet B with 500 XLM, you're not going to have an issue. Transfer the assets and you're done. Then go and reclaim it. But it's up to you. But certainly, if you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer those through the forum.
I appreciate it.
If I miss any messages, I'm sure Dave will send me a ding-a-ling and say, "Oi, get across to the quorum because someone's got a question." But happy to help.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Have a wonderful
very welcome.
evening.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, I think we might have covered them, Shane.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
Dave, I have a question. I've been waiting.
Oh, Pam, you're holding. I'm just teasing.
Letting
Go ahead, my friend.
rest of the team ask theirs. Hopefully this isn't too long, and it seems like it's probably basic, but I'm wondering how you connect the alias emails back to the primary email. I've never done anything like that before, and I don't know if it's self-explanatory once you go into Proton. I do have a Proton email.
Is that a .me or a .com?
No, it's a .com, and I'm using that for one of my wallets. I do have a handful of them for some other family members that I'm managing, and
Yeah,
so,
that's okay.
but only one of them is Proton.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, in the top right-hand corner, if you're opening up Brave through a browser interface on a laptop or a PC, the top right-hand corner, you've got your settings. Under your settings, if you dive into the settings, there'll be additional under there, and then you look at, gosh, I'm doing it from memory now, you look at security and addresses, or something worded similar. And then you scroll down the bottom and you can create alias addresses in there.
Okay, so you create them from within that area in the settings.
Yes, within that account. So within that email account, because obviously we want them all tied to that primary email, being a sub-email address or alias thereof of your primary. And as I say, other than you registering that alias with Lobster on establishing a new Stellar account and providing that connection, that email alias is not internet facing to any human unless you provide it.
Right. Okay, that's good. Right now, my one Proton email, I would say, it's not compromised in the sense that there's been anything foul happening with it, but it's just compromised in the sense that it's one of the wallets out there, and so it sounds like I would need to create a new primary Proton email that then all the other aliases go into, rather than using this one that's currently a wallet as that primary one.
Well, not necessarily. And just to clarify, if you don't have aliases set up at the moment, and for example, it's pam1@protonmail.com, if you establish the aliases and then go oceangirl1@protonmail.com, but that is attached to your pam1@protonmail.com, what you can do is disconnect that pam1 email address from your current existing Stellar account in Lobster and reconnect with oceangirl1 as an alias. The minute you do that, any association to that Lobster account is not there. It dissolves because you've disconnected that email address from the Stellar account via Lobster.
Okay.
So the fact that currently I may have interacted with you over that Proton Mail account, being pam1@protonmail, if I then go and try and put that email address into a Lobster login and then have a guess and crack your password, you're not going to be able to do that because there is no Lobster application or instance that exists within the Lobster server that connects to a corresponding Stellar account. I would need to know one of however many aliases you've got and start at that end. So from a security perspective, don't be thinking you've got to run out and get a whole brand new Proton. No, you don't need to. You just need to establish a convention for your alias addresses and make sure you don't make them public to anybody.
Okay, that's super helpful.
So I'm all about doing it as best you can with minimal outlay. There's no
Oh, absolutely. No, that sounds a lot easier.
yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you so much. It's been a fabulous presentation. It's just a huge value add, and
You're very welcome.
just want to thank you and Dave so much for all the time and effort you put into this, especially going over 2 hours here now tonight. So thank you so much to both of you.
Yeah, it's all good. In case you hadn't guessed, I can talk the leg off a wooden chair, so it's all good.
No, you're great. We've loved it.
Okay, it looks like let's see, Lumina?
Hey, Dave. Hey, Shane.
Hey, Lumina.
Quick
How you
question
doing?
on the Too Fast. Great yourself, and thank you for tonight. This is awesome. This clears up a lot of questions. On the Too Fast two-factor authentication, if you're using something different, let's say it's Google or whatever, does that still work with the Proton Mail, or you're suggesting, or you're using for yourself that combination because it seems to be the best?
Yeah, I'm using Too Fast because I've found it to be more workable. The other two-factor authentication applications out there, I will defer to others who are using them to have a look at them and see and make sure they can work in that fashion. I just have an aversion. I know Google are going to hate me, and well, Microsoft already hates me, but I have an aversion to their two because of past experience. The bigger bonus I see with the Too Fast application, and I've been made aware that Google Authenticator can now do it, but Too Fast is very simple. For example, I've got my wallet two-factor authentication tokens in that Too Fast instance or the application. I've also got my exchange wallets. So in Australia, I use CoinSpot, which is the Australian version of Coinbase, even though now we're able to use Coinbase, and I have Coinbase as well. So I have two-factor authentication for both of those applications and a couple of others. But for those 17 or 18 different applications that I use the Too Fast program for, I'm able to back up all of those two-factor authentication token instances to a file, copy it to my phone, airdrop from my phone to my iPad, all of those connections, and then open two-factor authentication on an iPad, and I've got a backup device. So worst case scenario, where touch wood, I'm tapping my head like you guys would not believe, I don't bust my phone, I have a backup to my two-factor authentication and I'm not locked out of my accounts. I can then get a new phone from my iPad, send that two-factor authentication backup file to the new device without having to physically go back in, disconnect two-factor from Wallet 1, reconnect it with the new phone and the new application. 16 or 18 times, depending on how many devices you use two-factor authentication for. So in answering your question, that's that's the primary reason in looking at 2FAS. I've always figure out from a security perspective, because that's part of my background, how do I defeat the process to then look at a security application on protecting myself, so if it does break, how do I recover quickly without impact? So in my mitigation process, so to speak, looking at the way the apps work, that's the best one I've found to be able to recover quickly, so that if it ever happens, I know my butt's not out there in the wilds getting kicked by anybody. I can recover and move forward with minimal disruption to my process.
That is genius. That's super good. I super appreciate that. Is that an app that you can also load on your phone, or how does that come?
Oh, 2FAS, yes. Yeah, 2FAS is an app that would work on your phone. So if you're using the phone, you can switch between applications, and yes, it's both Android and iOS compatible, which is obviously important for our environment as well, because you've got the iOS crowd and you've got the Android crowd. It works on both. And if you're logging in using a laptop or a desktop, when it asks you for the 2FAS code, you just open the app on your phone or your iPad and go into whatever application or whatever wallet, and then your authentication code is displayed. Type it in on the laptop, hit enter, boom, the servers connect and they say, yep, you're in. Or you've taken too long, hurry the heck up.
Where did you save it on your iPad when you put it when you?
Oh, when you save the file down, you just send it to files on that device.
So you just put it as a file.
As a file, yeah. Just save it into files on the device, and then transfer that file or share that file. Share it. Select the option to the device that's on the other side of your laptop or your other knee or the other side of the desk.
Oh, that's totally genius. Thank you for that, Shane. Thank you, Dave.
Absolutely welcome.
Okay, looks like we have another hand up here. Apologize if I say this wrong. Ami108. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself now and chime in.
Look, if Ami wants to type a question into the chat, I'll pick that up after the call, and I'll provide a response to that, Ami, so that your question, gets answered.
That sounds great. Okay,
Dave, I was just going to say, this is Pam. While maybe she's typing that in, I just thought I'd add, I do use the Google Authenticator, two-factor authentication on my phone, and I use it with multiple wallets, and they're all different email servers. It's Proton, it's Google, it's iCloud, and it works seamlessly with all of them. So I just thought anyone that already has that and is using it, it does work for multiple wallets just very well. So if anyone's thinking they have to go out and get something new or something like that, they don't. It works just fine. Just for anyone that might be wondering that.
I'm always an advocate of, you're better to default to what you know, but also just confirm. I'm not sure what their recovery process is. Are you able to confirm that? Do they have the ability to back up, in a sense, your accounts into a file and transfer it from one device to another?
I don't know that, and that's a very good question, and that's where something like the one that you're talking about with the two fasts would have the edge. But I've never had a reason for that, and it's something that I could look into and report back to the group if that was helpful.
Yeah, look, and one of the worst things is to have to try and do it as a baptism of fire. So I'll do a bit of research
True.
at my end as well on that. Yeah, because you're better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it, in my book.
Yeah, 100%. So that's a really valid point.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. This has got to be a collective effort on working this stuff out and having the information available for people to preferably answer their own question through investigation on their own part. But I sort of feel, and that's where my intent comes from in getting involved at this level, is because I'm a bit of a techie. I come from a tech background in security electronics, and certainly putting this stuff together, working with QSI and Stellar and the rest of it, is to, well, we've got to be able to demystify it, because that, and present it in a digestible format, because that's the only way we're going to be able to get mass adoption. Because a lot of people are going to look at this stuff and just, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. We're going to try and break the meals down into more digestible sizes so that people can consume it and go, oh, okay, well, that wasn't that bad. What's next? What's dessert? So
That's great. Thanks so much again, Shane. Shane, any, maybe we'll go to closing comments here if you have any, and then I can wrap us up and get everyone off to bed.
yeah, I was just going to say, it's been a bit of an epic call. It's only sort of 1 hour and 18 minutes in, but it's 3:45 p.m. for me here. We must be hitting at least 11:30 p.m. for you guys, if not later.
So here in Mountain Time, we're coming up on 10 o'clock. So
I was ahead. I was ahead. Yeah, okay.
You're a little ahead. Yep.
Yeah, but no closing comments from me other than thank you very much yet again, Dave, for the opportunity to present with you. It's been absolutely stellar, and I look forward to any further interactions and collaborations. It's been wonderful at my end. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shane. You're such a wealth of information, such a great presenter, and you have knowledge and background in this stuff that's just super valuable. And my closing comments, I think, would just be that we're still seeing too many people, whether it's recklessness or whatever it may be, not observing some of these security protocols that we've talked about, that are getting scammed. And it's never fun to see. It's always really difficult to see. And the thing is, it is preventable, just with a little bit of, what they say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, right? So just taking in what Shane has shared and we've sort of talked about in these last couple of week calls is just going to make all the difference. And I love this new piece on organizing wallets. This was sort of a piece that I've needed. So it's super timely for me, and I just appreciate it a lot. And the other thing I wanted to mention is, as we do these trainings, keep in mind, we are going to be sort of on the front line as new people come in, the masses come in, if you will. And so, really taking time to go back, review this material, because although Shane and I are maybe leading the conversation or the discussion tonight, there's going to be a time where everyone's going to be stepping into that role and helping our friends that don't know much about this at this point, and helping them on board. So I guess that would be my challenge as I leave as we wrap this up, is to go back, revisit the slides, revisit the call if you need to, try button mashing, trying this stuff out and implement it. And then as you do, then you're able to teach to others better that way as well. So that's all I've got, guys. Thanks so much for being here tonight. Shane, thank you so much again. And I got a feeling we'll probably collaborate some more in the future. So I look forward to that.
Yeah, likewise, I hope so. And just to echo your comments as well, Dave, the issues that I've seen come up along with you are preventable. And if I rarely give advice, but the advice I will give is, if you're in a rush, just install a bit of a speed bump. All right, just back off the pedal a bit, slow down, take a breath, take a second, step back, go, right, what is the problem? How do I best achieve it? Do I know what I'm doing? If you don't, your responsibility before you get done and hacked or hijacked is to come to one of the quorums and ask the question. We're there to answer them. And I'll openly say I don't take DMs. I don't DM people. I'm more than happy to take a DM, but because within Telegram, I've got all my channels organized into folders, I'm not in general population of Telegram. You need to get a hold of me and you're connected with Dave. I'll cruise the quorums, but get a message to Dave or pop an urgent call in before you step over that speed bump, because once your wallet's hijacked, it's gone. Don't be that person, please. Everybody's put way too much time and effort into where we are to get to where we are, to reverse that and go back to square one. It's the greatest pain for me personally, and I also see for people personally, because it's their XLMs that are gone. But just install that bit of a speed bump, stop, think, regroup, ask the question first before you proceed. So that's it from me, mate.
Beautiful. Well, we'll end it there. I think that's a great place to end up, and hope you guys enjoyed the call, and we will see you back in chat. Thanks so much.
Absolutely welcome. Likewise.
Thanks for watching this QSI presentation. To join the QSI community online, just scan these QR codes and connect through our social media. You can also access the QSI mobile training apps and online resources. QSI, by the people, for the people.